just getting to this farm. This is south of the Lucky Farm. First cover to the south of the Lucky Farm, and all these 3 farms that I picked up, it's the first immediate cover from the Lucky Farm, south, west, and north. There's 2 miles of 0 cover going out towards the east, but I mean, last night we learned that these deer could literally be bedding in the smallest of small cover, and that's probably what he's doing. But this farm, we're going to go to the south part of it. They're standing corn all the way back here, and I think we'll have an opportunity to maybe catch something on the cameras. But I'm really relying on my cameras, and I'm putting the time into scouting right now to put my cameras in the best spots possible. I'm solely relying on these cameras to get pictures of intel. That way I know where this deer is. I mean, it's so open out here. This deer could be 3 miles away from the spot he was yesterday, so it's really, really hard to hunt these open bucks. But I do want to add one thing. I had a couple people comment on the blog asking about how I gain permission and how I keep permission, how I hunt with permission with a bunch of other hunters on these pieces. And I want to be clear, every piece that I hunt, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 pieces, and that's out of a lot of pieces, have other bow hunters on them. Well, I would say my biggest thing for keeping the permission is I'm very open with the farmers or with the landowners on what I'm doing. I just sent this landowner, new guy, a text with the Onyx pins on exactly where I'm going to put the cameras. I told him I would share pictures with him. And I know you guys are probably thinking, like, well, what if he shares pictures with everyone around? Well, at least that gives me another opportunity to just have a conversation with the landowner. He obviously appreciates it, and every point of contact that you can get with the landowner just strengthens that relationship, and they're more likely to, if there is any drama on the property, they're more likely to have you keep hunting that property, and those other people might get kicked off. You never know. I mean, I've had multiple cases where multiple hunters on a property and guys have put ruts all over the farm, and they've kicked those guys off, and they've let me stay because I'm always stopping by, saying hi, telling them what I'm seeing, and they know that I'm taking care of their property when I'm on it. I'm not messing it up whatsoever. So let's pop back here, put a couple cameras up, see if we can learn something new. So I want to show a before and after of hanging just a camera and a scrape, a vine scrape, out in an open setting, what I'm doing to make them a little bit more attractive visually to these deer. And I think it might, if you guys implement this, if you guys kind of hunt like me or putting a camera on a field edge, I think this might help you out. Shay was telling me earlier that helped him out anyway. So can you take a pan of like this right here, and then I'll start doing my thing. Okay. Alright, bud, yep. There. Take this about right here. Awesome. We know it's a fresh vine because there's water dripping out. Lube her up. All right, sweet. Let's get this camera hung. Perfect. All right, so check this out, you guys. Before we came in here, there's a bunch of overhanging branches. I'm sure there would have been a scrape there anyways, but there's just a lot of noise there. And this vine, instead of them potentially hitting a bunch of different branches and not getting just one scrape, or that one licking branch that you have your camera over, cut all those other branches, cut all those other branches out, and just have that vine hanging there. They're gonna work it, no questions asked. I mean, it's right there, right in front of their face. These deer in November and October, once all the crops comes out, they're gonna be cruising these fence lines. It's the only cover. They're gonna hug it real tight. They're gonna come work this scrape. So it'll be fun. I'll show you guys all these pictures throughout the year and just show you what camera locations work out better, but it'll be fun to illustrate this one here. Hopefully we get some more pictures, but
the more we look at this property, the more we think we better sit it tonight. So I think we're gonna end up sitting where we walked in. We didn't bugger anything up. There's a lot of cattle in the pasture that we have permission on. So we just want to overlook this CRP on the backside. It's a sanctuary and we know that. So could be good. But yeah, that's my scrape tip. Okay, we were on that permission farm that I walked earlier today. We got one Trax camera hung up on it on a vine scrape on the southeast corner, but when we came in here, I had no idea how much cover was back behind this farm. There's a lot of CRP. You've got standing beans, standing corn, and the standing corn is exactly where I think a lot of these mature bucks could be right now. On a lot of cameras, it seems like there's a lot of bucks coming out of standing corn at night. But there's all this CRP back here, and it looks like the perfect height to where if they were sitting, you wouldn't be able to glass up even their tips of their antlers. It's very similar height to when I was filming Lucky when he was 5, back at the Lucky farm. We did learn that there's a pond on this property. It was just put in not long ago, so you couldn't see it from the aerial. And it's one of the major factors that led me to believe that this deer was over to the west where we've been hunting the last couple days. So with knowing that today, this is a very, very potential farm that he could be on. So there's a lot of anticipation. I'm really hopeful that I can find this deer because once I do find him, I think he's in trouble. But we're gonna put the Bushnell glass to work tonight. I've already been glassing out here. I can't see anything just yet, but I think as the evening unfolds, we have this side hill that is southeast facing, and with this strong westerly wind, I would think that these deer would want to bed down here just because it's very out of the wind and it's not really noisy. So we'll see what tonight brings. Well, we did a little musical chairs, and we changed our setup. We were in front of this Osage tree, but it's leaning down to an angle where I can stand up, shoot, and Shay has perfect cover. So I've noticed with this ground hunting, you want to make sure you have really good cover, because I've had multiple situations where deer come in within 5 yards, and you got to outsmart them. They can't see you. But I like the setup now. So what I'm trying to figure out tonight, and what I'm trying to learn, is first of all, how many deer are bedded in the CRP back here. I'm sure there's a few, because it's tall enough to where they should have shading if they're laying down in the evening hours with the sun falling towards the west. And that's what I've been trying to do, just glass up these pockets, these little shaded pockets, and I just think that the grass is too tall for me to see the tips of their tines, otherwise their heads are just down, and until they stand up, I'm probably not going to see them. But we've got big corn that we have permission on right over this fence line here. And I was telling Shay, this waterway that's right in front of us, it might be a really good transition for them to come up here with the bedding. We have a northwest wind. We just looked at our Onyx. The weather's going to stay consistent this afternoon. I could see deer potentially coming up here. If I own this land, one thing that I would potentially do is right where this waterway is, I would lower the fence. That way there's a fence gap that these deer can use from the bedding, which is that CRP that's to our south, and the destination food, which is right here. So it'd make the deer movement flow really easy to predict if there was a fence gap there. But the deer should be on their feet soon. The last couple nights we've been seeing they're moving about 45 minutes before dark, so hopefully he steps out. Well, that was slower than we anticipated. I thought this setup was awesome. I mean, we got water back here, standing corn, pick corn, standing beans, really good grass cover out of the wind, and you cannot see it by any of the roads. Plus, we even got a little timber down there with some acorns, you know. They got the whole ball of wax. But nonetheless, there are 0 deer out here tonight. We did see 1 coyote, but I'm pretty excited about this piece. You know, we learned that there's cattle on here today, and it looks like a great spot to sit in the morning. So I think morning access would be awesome. You gotta think about it. These deer probably know that there's cattle in here. They're used to them being in here, so they're used to cows walking around being a little louder. So you just get away with a little bit cleaner access in the morning when you come through a pasture like this. But I need to get a shed chair. That's what I need to do. And gosh, look at that sunset, dude. Just nice to be outside. It was fun seeing a coyote today. Even though it was slow, it was still a beautiful day today, and we're one step closer to getting this buck. Or at least seeing him anyway.